Hello, my name is Brian, this is Football Manager 22, and we're back in Salisbury. Sorry for the lack of an addendum at the end of the last episode. I tried, in fact recorded a 3 minute extension video after some things had happened. However, stitching the two videos together was going to take well over 24 hours on my machine, and that was just not practical for what it was. Uh, so in the end, we secured a spot in the Europa Conference League. Southampton lost to Man City in the FA Cup, which locked that in for us. I'm not sure if the results had gone the other way, what would have happened. Southampton's not playing in Europe. I don't know if we both would have been European bound. If we would have lost our spot somehow. I don't really know. We're here looking at the Club Vision screen. It's all pleasing colors this very, very early in the year. The board wants to expand the stadium. I am thrilled by their decision to do so. I would take it up to about 29,000. I do believe it means it is a significant enough expansion that we have to abandon the ground completely, and I believe we're playing in Southampton for the year. We are increasing the youth level, trying to get it up to 3. Again, just give us a youth team, please. Whether U18s or U23s or both. Or U19s. Our training facilities are now superb and just short of the top level of out of this world, or whatever it is exactly. There's nothing much I can ask for at this point. So that's always a positive thing. In terms of the club, frankly, our player development might make us better, but based on the players, we're probably in worse shape than last year. We sold off Ian McLean to Stoke for 1.2 at the end of last year, technically. We sold off Billy Bell for 3.1 to Millwall. We sold off Brandon Brian Wall to 3.1 to Derby. This guy's time had come and gone with the program. Attila Alexandrescu unfortunately got bought out by Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia for his $15 million release clause, so we didn't have much of a say in it. Attila wasn't. He was a very good player. He was our starting, not top choice center back when he was healthy. Was a little nicked up, but the Saudi league, it tends to overpay like the Chinese league for certain players, and he was one of them. Maybe not in terms of fee, but in terms of salary, maybe not even then. But I just couldn't get in and do anything else. And then we, Furtado, our defensive midfielder that was on loan from Inter last year, we let him go back to Inter. We could have had him back, but it would have cost us like $8 million to loan him back again, and it's just completely impractical. Blomgren went to Wiesbaden, Melendrez went to Falkirk. We loaned Monroe to Olympiacos. We loaned 2 of our guys who have come up through the youth system to Morecambe, our affiliate in Sky Bet League 2. We don't really care if they get playing time or not. Griffiths maybe has some potential, but he probably won't ever get close to being Premier League player. His potential is 2 and a maybe 3rd star. He'd need to get all of that to get there, but he certainly could be a League 1 player, maybe Championship if everything breaks right. So hopefully it does well for them. We loaned Esteban Aguilar to Ipswich, and we're getting a fee for that one. That's nice. And then our last 2, one isn't here, are semi-illegal loans. It's really frustrating because it doesn't have the game rule restrictions of, well, Ivanov, I can't play you in England, so you need to accept these loans to this team you don't necessarily want somewhere in Europe. Same with Souchik. So it looks like Souchek's probably going to accept a loan to the championship as well, just because I don't want him on my roster. I want to get him playing time, even if it's just to sell them. In terms of incomings, right now we have one player incoming, and that's it. So we have two starters outgoing and only one incoming. And he's not. I mean, he's a starter. Thomas Nagankam, I believe, is how I'd pronounce it, anyways. He is a very positionally flexible player. Left back, right back, defensive mid. All of them very competent at 3-star levels. Got a full 4 potential with maybe a 5th. He's already 21, so a little higher on the developmental curve, but has 7 caps for the Czech national team. Has pretty good physicals. Has some very good mentals. His technicals are, he's not a great attacking wingback. I intend to use him more as a defensive midfielder because of that crossing in particular is not great. But, as a defensive midfielder, the key technicals are first touch, passing, marking, tackling. Those are the things he does. So, huzzah. Has pretty good technique, if that matters. You'd like to see his aggression be a little higher, but I think he's a very useful player to give us positional flexibility. He's either-footed, so that, again, supports the playing either fullback spot. Just a kind of player you love to have on the team. So our results have been, we haven't had a ton of games yet. They've been frustrating. So we opened with the game against Everton. We got off to a great start. 2 goals in the first 13th minute. And unfortunately, Val, their star striker, managed to score right before the break. And that, killed the momentum a bit. And then Val scored again in the 90th minute because, I don't know, guys had checked out at the end of the game. And then in the last minute of stoppage time, of extra time, we conceded a penalty. And they converted it. As you can see, we just killed them on XG. They had, I guess they had 10 attempts. But in the second half, they had literally 2 attempts. The one Val scored and the one penalty that they scored. It's... yeah, you could hear the disgust in my voice. And then we had our Europa Conference League. This path puts us into the 4th qualifying round, which is win a home-and-home leg to get to go to the group stage. We drew FC Utrecht. We had a home leg to start, and it was it would be entertaining for the casuals, I suppose. We scored 5 goals. We scored 5 goals, and we won by 1. We had an XG of 4.26. They had an XG of less than 1 and scored 4 goals on that. It was abysmal defensively. And how they scored these goals are just 3 of them, anyways, are just insane. We scored 4 of our goals from open play, and then Garcia got a penalty in the 80th minute. Both Andre and Atta here scored these goals on corners, which we last year, and in the history of our team, just do not concede penalties or not concede goals from corners. This Aslani goal is the worst goal I've ever seen. This should never happen. This makes my complaint about our goal where our one center back has a free kick deep in the defensive half and tries to pass it to the other center back flat, and it gets intercepted, and we've seen that a couple times now. This is mind-boggling bad. It's somewhat realistic. So they're going to take this free kick. Both us and them are going to miss it, and Messin's reading that somebody's going to make the header and the ball's going to go right, dives hard right. Nope, the ball just whoop in off of it. and this was actually from live play. Um, I don't see how these guys get such good ratings for this catastrophe. We do have a goal lead coming into the game that I will be showing, the road return to Utrecht. So all we need is a draw. I need to check the rules. Bruman couldn't play the first game, not that he's going to be playing the second game necessarily, but he couldn't play the first game because he actually had a yellow card accumulation from Europe from the last time he played for someone else. I am trying to look for. Okay. You win, you make the group stage. Here. Okay, 3 from 7, extra time sub. It doesn't look like away goals matter, which obviously having 1-5-4 could matter significantly. So we just need to get a draw and we win. If not, a loss by 1 means play extras and possibly penalties. Lost by more than that, and we get to be embarrassed and go home. Well, then we lost to Norwich, a road game, but you still don't like losing to Norwich. It also featured a penalty, so just loving the return to Premier League form from 2 years ago of conceding penalties. We played Uda up top the whole game to rest Jackie for this one, and it's just frustrating how he doesn't live up to these attributes. I don't know. Ever. Speaking of Jackie, I can't remember who was it. I don't know if it was City or United who came in and offered me $45 million for him. I'd been waiting for that. I immediately offered him a new deal, giving him basically everything he wanted and raising his release clause to 110 million or so. He accepted the deal because I was going to pay him $7 million a year to be a star player. All the clauses that he wanted. I had to tamp down his this year fee because the club wouldn't allow me to go higher. But everything else just agreed. Didn't want to negotiate. Just wanted to raise that level, the release clause level. Unfortunately, he hasn't signed the contract yet, and Man City has offered 63 million, which was his release clause. So they get to offer a contract to him. I can only hope that they try to tell him, oh, you're a prospect and Jackie wants to be a star player right now. And, the fact that we're probably paying him as much as them means that he will sign our deal and not theirs. But I don't know. And if we lose Jackie, oh man, we're in a bad place. I am trying to, get everything. I'm still trying to find a new center back to be in the rotation, at the top of the rotation preferably. I suppose I should start scouting strikers to see if I can find a replacement for Jackie if I have to. The Brazilian kid we have our eye on still isn't 18 for another month. Still doesn't seem particularly interested in leaving from all of our reports. But again, when he turns 18, that might change because he can't leave till then, so might not be thinking about it till then. I've got a few other options of scouting in terms of center backs. They're fine, but none of them stood out to the point that I needed to make a move. In terms of the like two players. There was at least one I showed off before, a Dutchman who was getting on Brentford and getting relegated with them. Had the release clause for like 39 million. I did offer the 39 million, and I did offer a contract that was probably about $6 million a year. He unfortunately, I believe Chelsea offered it as well. Yes. Garcia passing across the box to Juan, and it's getting called back because of course it is. Well, that looks like it's fair. It's like the Garcia to Juan pass was backwards. That wasn't the problem. So unfortunately, he opted to accept Chelsea's offer and not ours. And then we had another defensive midfielder. I can't remember from where exactly. That again, I put in a substantial bid for, and substantial, fee, 5-6 million. Good run from Jackie. Fortunately, plays off the goalie's hands. We'll take the corner. And another big Premier League team was in for him, and their similar $5-6 million bid, I believe, got him instead of having him come to us. So yeah, well, I certainly like Nigankam. I like his flexibility. I like his skill set, but really like his flexibility. I was, really looking to have a new kind of star player at defensive midfield that we just don't have and haven't filled, and at center back where we'd like to replace Alexander Screw. So still scrambling, trying to put things together. It's not obviously where you'd prefer to be. Zabibi at left back is still working his way back from injury. I think it was a sports hernia. We've had a lot of those lately. Over the last year, I mean, not like lately. So he, I believe the physio said don't play him the full game. So we'll see how much of the game we can get out of him before we either switch Nigankam back to that spot or bring in Bruman. Well, I kind of like the concept, given he had no one around him, but not exactly a soft touch. Encourage the boys. Ada plays it forward to Constancia, plays it back to Renke. Renke's going to have a dribble to the corner. Well blocked. Gets the ball to Agbo, but Messa makes a relatively easy save. Okay, Zabibi with a throw-in, probably. No, interesting. Would have gone to McAvoy a little deeper, but hey, worked out relatively. That's offsides. You can't fool me. I have eyes. I can see it sometimes. Like the concept. Like the pass attempt. Just need to time it better. Messon up to Torres, dancing under pressure and just kind of bombs it away. Really, obviously would have preferred him to find a good target instead of just kicking it down the pitch. And then he gets outclassed by Atta, who at least luckily kind of panics and immediately fires off a bad shot instead of continuing to drive and making a better opportunity for himself. Aslani, who kind of was the hero of the last game for the other team, between the 2 assists off corners and that hilarious free kick goal. So we need to watch when he's at the ball. Ball played up to Ozan, unfortunately, right off the keeper. Again, good concept, not amazing execution. Sure, press Atta. Interesting. Play it short to Garcia. Edgar, not Jackie. Plays back to Ozan, across to McAvoy, to Capoon, up to Garcia, Edgar, not Jackie. And lose possession, they'll play it back to the defense. Again, come up to Capoon, to McAvoy, Torres, Capoon, McAvoy, Ozan. Ball up to Jackie. Jackie plays it out to Edgar Garcia. Garcia back into the middle. Unfortunately, intercepted by the defense. Back to their goalkeeper. Plays it long. Ada wins the header, but just sends it to Nagankam. McAvoy, Ozan. Ozan lays it forward to Juan. Juan stops. Plays it back to Ozan. Ozan doesn't have an angle on goal. Oh, okay. Own goal. We'll take it. We'll take anything we can get at this point. Jackie, please sign the contract. Oh, God, Jackie. Good stuff from Juan to pump the brakes. I would have liked to seen something a little better from Ozan there, but in the end, it works out as he gets the ball to Garcia in a threatening position, and all they can do is get their foot in the way and watch as it skitters off their foot and into their goal. Motivate the boys. 2-goal lead. Not that I want to concede a goal, but now we can and not immediately lose. Terra Vest, back to Bangma, to Vest, up to Kiergaard, in the hall. They're having a bit of a pass about, playing some tiki-taka themselves. Maybe a little unconventional for a 4-4-2. Not the formation you expect that to come from. Hall blasted across on a cross. They do wrangle it, but they play a super high ball back, and Messin handles it pretty easily. Messin's going to have a run out, doesn't like what he sees, and goes for the kick. Looks like the Utrecht might be getting a little bit of a press on, which is what convinced Messin to do that. Petkov pretty high up the pitch. I mean, he is a wing back, not a full back, but still, he had certainly kind of swapped positions with Juan temporarily. Up to Juan in. Jackie can't quite finish in traffic. Ball's played out, and we will recycle possession. Zabibi here with the throw in to Garcia. Back to McAvoy. I don't know what he was thinking there. Luckily, the defender didn't do anything with it, and McAvoy gets possession. Plays it up to Juan. Unfortunately, intercepted. Ozan's the one who comes away with the header, though, and they're the ones who end. What a cluster. Eventually, Edgar ends up taking a shot after a pass from Jackie after we got dispossessed, they got dispossessed, we got dispossessed. Nobody wants possession. Torres with the header. Apparently, he pushed someone on his jump attempt and is going to get a yellow card for his trouble. We really don't want to take Torres off. He's actually one of our better penalty takers if it comes to that. There's no reason it should. But if it did, Torres is someone we want on the pitch. To have a good penalty taker in the defensive spots is definitely an asset. So close. McAvoy with a good run from deep. Nice hard-headed ball right at the goalie. And looks like Capoon is now on a yellow card. Capoon, on the other hand, at least in terms of yellow cards, I think I'm more likely to take off. I don't think he has any exceptional skill at taking penalties. So maybe we'll slide Hurleman onto the pitch. Capoon's also got the lowest energy of anyone. That's definitely a change to make. Jackie pivots back, passes to Juan, back to Petkov, makes the shot just off a defender, but hey, that'll give us a corner. Looks like Juan will be taking it. And Torres doesn't go anywhere in particular. Ozan comes away with it, plays it into Juan, who sends a cross across, and it is well defended. Yes, please make that change. Let's then. Yep. Okay, change made. Zabibi is tiring. I don't know that Zabibi is any particularly good at taking penalties. Bruman is, in fact, even worse. But, if he gets to that, he gets to that. Let's focus on keeping guys healthy and fit. Is McAvoy any good? No, McAvoy's terrible. He's also on a kind of mediocre game. So, Doyle or Green? Doyle's a 7. Green is a 6. Green has 12 composure. Doyle has 14 composure. Cool, Kamari. Yeah, come on here. Bruman with the throw-in to Doyle. Back out to Bruman. Leading ball to Garcia. Back to Gankum to Ozan. Plays it up to Bruman. One touches it to Juan on the other side of the pitch. Offsides. Messin will initiate play from the other side. Torres across to Hurleman. The ball getting played kind of flat across all that space is a bit scary, but luckily they were kind of man marking to the outside and not inside, so it wasn't intercepted and we weren't punished for it. And Nagankum passing to Doyle. Turns back to Nagankum. Played out to Petkov. Ozan, luckily their feet were tired because I feel like they could have intercepted that ball. And eventually they do, as we make a bad touch or two. Juan up to Ozan. Ozan's going to make a run. Plays back to Nagankum. There's Doyle. I like the thought. Juan tries to make something of it. Parried off the ground. Nope, Juan's offside again. Juan needs to learn how to stay on sides. Good dispossession by Petkov, but if he doesn't get the ball there, he's probably going to get sent off. That was a bit dangerous for the situation. Ball's played forward to Ozan. It's making a good run. Parried by the goalkeeper. Ozan gets his foot on it again, but played out the back. Here, about 4 minutes left in the game, at least in regulation. No reason to add much in the way of stoppage time. Ball's played forward. Berman guards Kiergaard pretty well, and the intercepts there to blast the ball forward. Garcia wins the header and plays back to Juan. Juan with a bit of a run, plays it up to Jackie. Garcia with the shot, but off a defender. Does get his own pass, plays it back to Nagankum. Unfortunately intercepted. Bombs it forward, but looks like we're going to be the first people there. Edgar Garcia then picks up the ball. Back into Nagankum, up to Ozan. To Petkov on that side. No one guarding Petkov. Just take your time, buddy. Dribble to the corner. Plays it in. Jackie with the header. We're going to move to cautious. We're going to push back Petkov to defend and Bruman to support. Hurlin with a header up to Nagankum. Nagankum with a header up to Garcia. Garcia passing and leading pass for Garcia. Ball's off them. 3 minutes of extra time. Juan will take a free kick here. Short. Nothing comes of it, but Juan does manage to come away with the ball. Ozan plays it wide to Jackie. Does play back to Hurleman. Back out to Jackie. Luckily on sides. Back to Hurleman. That's a weird passing combination. How often do your center back and striker end up in multiple pass combinations? But in the end, it is a much more conventional game. We had struggled a little bit to stay on sides early, but we created the majority of good attempts despite being here in Utrecht and handle our business, which will put us into the group stage. And we will have to see what that looks like. The draw will be tomorrow, so I will... Good passing, Torres, other than that one that freaked me out. Certainly not going to complain about getting given $3.5 million for that win. Man United's the next game. The Carabao Cup draw has happened. In the second round, we, of course, get Southampton. Ooh, it's rivalry. I mean, it kind of is. They should, there are dynamic derbies now. That should pop up as a new South England rivalry. But, yeah, it's just, again, frustrating that... No, stay away. Jackie, sign your contract, buddy. At least make him give me $110 million. um, and even if we beat Southampton, we get Man City in the third round of the Carabao Cup. Not ideal. Here are some players who are going on international duty. All right, let's take a look at this draw. We are going to be seeded second with 24.11 points, solely because of the English EPL points. I certainly won't complain, though. I would not want to be sitting down in that fourth group and picking up a second group team. All right, I obviously want to avoid the other big league teams, Roma, Nice, Villarreal, and Leipzig. So be happy to be drawn here against my good friends from Ludogorets. Nope. Shakhtar, fine with this. Nope. Okay. Copenhagen, I could be happy with this. Okay, 50-50 whether we get Famalicão or Leipzig. Leipzig it is, because life is pain. Yeah, none of these teams. I know I've bought players from Maribor before in Slovenia. Austria Wien. I have a lot of respect for the Austrian league. But we'll see. Ukrainian team, Dnipro. And the last group, we either get a Polish team or an Icelandic team, since I enabled the Icelandic league. And no, it is a Polish team. So we are in Group G with Leipzig, Dnipro, Jagiellonia. I'm sure I mispronounced at least a couple of those. Group stage, so we only need to play second, worst case. So not terrible. I think we have a chance if Jackie signs his contract and we don't have to find a replacement for him. And if, in particular, we can find a new center back that we can trust. Here is some scouting reports of guys I was taking a look at. Michael Adam from Club Bruges. He's making $4.75 million. He's primarily actually a wingback on the right, but he's 6'7". Great physicals. Decent mentals. You'd like to see more composure. Adequate technicals. His tackling's good. I'd like to see his marking a little higher. He does give us some more flexibility because he apparently is a competent right back. But 6'7". Like that. Already speaks English. Tempting. On the other hand, we have Gary Paul from Fulham. Scouting didn't do as much as you'd like. Squad player for them. You can see some kind of scary-ish numbers here, as well as up here, which he unlike Adam, he is not a flexible player. He is a center back. But if that pace is actually somewhere in the 13 to 15 instead of 12, it's good pace. Only 6'1", but you see in green for aggression, for determination, for positioning, 15 tackling, and more importantly, he's still just 20. So he actually has potential room to grow. Fulham did get promoted to the EPL this year. Will speak English. Apparently not an amazing fit with our core social group, but same with Adam. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing. I'm probably going to be signing one of these two guys just because we need more players at center back for the rotation, and players I can trust. It looks like Paul would already be our best center back according to our scouts. If I could get him on the 39 million side of things, that would be good. 63 for a center back who may or may not have growth potential. That seems scary. Anyways, I will figure it out. Please cross your fingers and hope for me that Jackie decides to stay with me and be my star player rather than sitting on the bench at Man City. And I guess if he does leave, then I'll have $63 million, and suddenly I won't have to flinch on buying one of these center backs. I'll just do it. So thank you so much for joining me. We will see how things go. I'll probably have, given the European play, I will certainly have at least one more video than usual. So expect a bit of a faster pace. So I will probably pick out a game here in another 2 months to record and get back to you with all of the comings and goings of the Salisbury Whites here in year 12, I believe. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't hesitate to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.